Hey folks, this is Durag Wisdom here. Hold on, let me focus in. Today I want to start by saying thank you to people who visit, both friend and foe. And I welcome all your comments. While I don't always answer back, I want to let you folks know that everybody who's put their name in to subscribe to me, I save that, the names, every one of those, because hopefully I'd like to dedicate some future broadcasts if I haven't been assassinated. And the other thing, of course, is that I don't know the rules of monetizing, and monetizing is when it has to do with money. Unfortunately, that's what advertising does. I read a great book. College professor, my feminist studies teacher, recommended a book by Jules Henry called Culture Against Man, and it really was an eye-opener. I still have it. It's not available in the Kindles. But it talks about the monetization of values. Meaning, when advertising puts out their crap, they take values like love and loyalty, holidays that people value, our values, and they monetize, they make money out of them so they could sell stuff. So everything about the value is in the context of some kind of money. So when they talked on YouTube about monetization, I said, oh yeah, well what's that about? So apparently for some people they want to be monetized, because I guess, I don't know, they must allow, but monetize on YouTube means advertising, means commercials come on before you have to look at this. And folks, you're very lucky if you stumbled upon my site, because I want to make money. I mean, I'm trying to sell a screenplay, but I don't want to make money to hurt other people. And to me, forcing people to watch commercials is hurting them. Because we spend most of our time, when we're trying to get, to one place to the other, watch TV, whatever it is, or get on the commercials. They want to sell you shit. And it's like brainwashing, because they'll play the same goddamn commercial over and over and over and over. Or some artist will sell out their music, and it will be like their song will appear on the commercial. So something you associated when you were a kid with some event, a song, now that song has been co-opted into a commercial. So when it comes to monetizing, as long as they're not going to throw me off YouTube, you have to monetize. I don't want to be I'll leave that up to you folks if that time comes. I do not want anybody to have to view commercials for the fact that of what I just said, and also because, look at this. Commercials. No. Well, we'll give you $1,000 per commercial. We'll give you blah, 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 blah. If you let us advertise, folks, you're going to be able to, you won't even have to, hey, you're retired now? Well, this is going to add like another $500 a month to your thing. I hate money. I won't say no to money because it's important in our society. Money is important in our society. It's it's probably the most important thing in this stupid nightmare society that we have. And I have sworn to myself to not make that piece of dirty people the main raison d'etre of my life, And but if someone said, here's $1 million, Durag, fine, man, I'll take it. I'm not stupid. You need to walk around with a lot of money in this stupid society if you can. But if they say, well, man, you got to make people watch commercials on YouTube before they watch Do-Rag Wisdom. No way. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So like I thanked the people. Okay, I want to thank everybody. I'm always sorry if I can't always answer personally. I'm not a snob. I'm just an asshole on the street. I always say that like anybody else, just trying to take some time. This is like something I can do because I'm retired. So this is my part-time job to make sure I get these comments out to you. All right, now the other thing. Remember the other day I was talking, pay attention to what this creep. Oh, you know, I hope I have, this creep, you know, the birther bastard. You know, I'll try not to scream. I mean, I hate to scream in people's faces. I mean, I just want you folks to know that's not an act. I mean, when I start talking about this birther bastard and his scumbag GOP and what they're doing to us, and what they're doing to you kids especially, it just drops. And it's not an act. I mean, I'm not going to put an act on for you folks. I try when I do these announcements to do it off the cuff, but then sometimes I'll say something like stupid, or I'll say wrong names. Like I'll call somebody instead of Mike Flynn, I'll call him by another name. I hope Mike Flynn gets fired for the Russian Putin-loving dickhead. But I just want folks to know that when I blow up, it's not something that it's not an act. I mean, I'm really, because, I mean, at 66 years old, and I've read a lot of books, and I've seen, I'm a big movie fan. So, you know, and I taught movies and media for like 22 years out of my 28 in the New York City school system. I'm not saying that I'm the overall authority of movies and the like, but I consider that a study. The moving image, it's art. It's very, it's influencing. You know, movies influence. I mean, when I look at this Trump cabinet, it's right out of Spectre, like James Bond. I mean, look at Mike Pence. He reminds me of Red Grant from the movie From Russia with Love. I was just watching, a James Bond movie the other day that Austin Powers makes fun of. You know, You Only Live Twice, where it has the bald-headed Blofeld played by the late great Donald Pleasance. But the point I'm trying to make is, we got the greatest villains in our administration who are going to hurt us in this administration. Now, the other day I said, pay attention to what this creep does, because what he says, that's irrelevant. I mean, it is relevant, but not for the point I'm going to say. Now, among what he's doing, you're going to have to pick the most important. That's my phone, it's not yours. You're going to have to pick. You see, I don't, I let my secretary, the answering machine, answer the goddamn telephone. All right. Now, among what he's doing, you got to prioritize. Look at the chaos this creep caused at with the immigration ban. But also keep your eye on the fact that he's filling his cabinet with all the creeps that threw people in the street, destroyed people's portfolios, their retirements. He's got this Mnuchin who prides himself that he threw people in the street. He's got another guy, Wilbur Ross, who's one of his minds, people died. And, you got the ExxonMobil shithead. They want to pollute the planet. Oh, Goldman Sachs, the former ones I was talking about. He's putting everybody back. He wants to repeal all those regulations that protect us from these parasite capitalists, these fascist capitalists. It's going to be sad. It's going to be rough. You got to keep your eye on that. You got to keep your eye on the fact that he's filling his cabinet with people who are going to really, really hurt us. So yes, keep your eye on the immigration ban, but you have to also keep your eye on all this other shit that he's going to do that's going to hurt us. And it's really sad. Look at what he's putting in his cabinet. Look at this creep Pence. Keep your eye on the ball with that. All right, so, I mean, I'm going to keep you up to date as much as possible because it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And, hey, watch a good James Bond movie. They'll look familiar, the villains in there, because now they're in charge of our government. Now, this idea of keeping track of all the things that this creep is doing, I'm going to try to do as much of that as I can through watching the news. It's torture, but I'm going to be watching the news. But again, you have to get information on your own. If I say something, you're going to want to fact check me. Make sure you fact check. You may want to come back, you know, if you disagree with something I say. You may want to post something on my on the YouTube page where you know what I'm you know saying that you disagree with. And I'm not trying to make the immigrant ban less important. I'm just saying, you know, it's like you're going into surgery and there's triage, you know, like from MASH, you go into triage. And you know, this guy is throwing a lot of shit. This birther turd is throwing a lot of shit out, saying things, throwing up, because that's to keep us off balance. Because then things are going to get through. We're going to forget things. Got to write it down. Get into groups like Indivisible. Invade your local congressperson, whether they're a Republican or Democrat, because they're all, you know, they're all a member of the same corporate club. The corporation is really, you know, the Koch brothers, Adelson, people like that. Iqbal are trying to invade us, you know, take over our country, make it something that it never was and never will be if we fight. And we know something? We are fighting. A lot of people are demonstrating. And they're going out. There's something going on at the end of this month. Very important, and I'm so happy this descent. But remember, he's putting shit in. He wants to put a Supreme Court justice in. It's going to fuck up women's rights, workers' rights. The Citizens United will be here forever. Something, you know, he wanted the labor secretary, every one of these creeps, the EPA, all to destroy everything that they're supposed to protect. So make sure you're keeping your eye out for that, because he's, you know, canceling the Affordable Care Act, throwing millions of people off of health care. You see how all this shit that he's throwing out, we're going to forget all other stuff that we have to hold him accountable for. And I'm here to help as much as I can.